In June 2026. Got this laptop. I unplugged it. I'm going to test. This laptop has been, I've been testing different devices and things, figuring out what works and stuff. So I'm just going to try to plug this in and power it on. Right now it's powered off, but sometimes when I put it into sleep mode, it takes like 5 minutes. Just sitting here pressing the power button, holding down the power button for 10-20 seconds. And things like that. So I just plugged in the laptop. This little light turns on. So I don't know if you guys could really see it, but there's a small light on the side of the laptop that turns on. And then there should be another light that's on the cover, and that turns on. So this was powered off, and then so putting it into sleep mode. So just on the first time, just tapping the power button once, it works. So don't put this, well, I'm not going to put it into sleep mode. I could select, I already set up a password and stuff. For some reason, just the power savings so that's a pretty useful tip because, I spent a couple hours testing all my specs aren't big. I just can't. So, with a lot of my older tablets or even smartphones. So let's try this one. This is pretty much a pocket camera, this smartphone. So I got this smartphone right here. The USB plug, well, it's USB plug and things like that. I'm just going to try to plug it into the laptop to just so it beeps a little bit and select to choose. So yeah, this smartphone works. I mean, this is a really old one, like 2014. It's got like 12 gigabytes of memory and storage, but some devices as being detected. So I'm basically, just trying to get used to where things are. I mainly go into control panel and then system, and just being gentle, just to remove this device if it doesn't show up in the system tray. Now I've got this other. So I've got this other pocket camera, basically. So we'll just try to turn this on and then plug it and see if this laptop. And after this so this has a USB like 2.0 so far. It's the same thing as detected General Plus micro. So it just depends. Remove this device. Things like that can help with all these extra devices and stuff. I kind of use them as spare media players so it's kind of hard to see on this display, but below it says view devices, I think. And then device. So all in all, now I could kind of remove it, put it back into do not disturb mode, and practically. So I basically use that for network. It's got network service and stuff, but mainly Harbor Freight coupons. I order stuff from Amazon with that smartphone. Just mainly like a spare internet. This tablet. So I put everything into airplane mode and do not disturb mode when I'm not using it. So now let's go ahead and plug it in, and it may not, or it's not being recognized. Last you connect to this computer malfunctioned. So there's definitely, but it's still okay, I think. So it might even be these cables or these plugs that I use. Maybe they're USB 2.0 and things. Happened is I tested this hard drive. I had some footage, and then I was like trying to edit the video, and I accidentally deleted everything, thinking I recorded. So that video, I was just plugging in, unboxing this 500 gigabyte hard drive, HDD and things. It's I got it for under 20. It was like $18 before everything started going up. And this thing I tested with pretty much as you can see, here's device manager, and I'm sure like a lot of people know about this stuff that are, pretty much used to Windows and things. And then I go down to disk drives. So there's a part right here that says disk drives, and basically, um, it will have pretty much the drive down there. I click on the drive, and it would actually bring up other types of menus and actual situations. So after that, I put this away, and then now, and then I basically made a little bit of list, made a couple, convert all together and stuff, and then power issues. I basically power off the laptop instead of putting it into sleep mode, and then I just tested it powering on or staying on without the power adapter, so everything's good there and stuff. So I'm kind of getting used to a few things. There's zero. I tested two Fire tablets and my K12 Android 13, which is roughly around 3 or 4 years old, maybe 2 years old. I can't remember. Um, and none of the tablets work on this computer. The Fires are quite old, probably like from 2000 and at least 2014. Same thing with one of the phones. So I tested pretty much 3 out of 3 phones. I couldn't test my camera phone, so I tested that. So far, I have 3 phones. I tested the pocket camera, which I have put away in kind of like a storage, that little that rectangle with all the. It does have some information, um, things like that. Whereas, so it turns up, just this program here. So this is without the hard drive plugged in. I was seeing this stuff, and then disk 0, and then there will be one more, kind of like down here that would say disk. A search, turn on device discovery. I don't know what that is. I never haven't touched this part, but I type in disk manager. So if there's and then I type in device manager basically. So device manager was the third thing. Should have been working. I tested it with the Android tablet because it has a USB-C adapter and things like that. So, but just putting all this together, tablets, phone, testing all this, and then that, it's really hard to just remember and put things, into a narrative just by this to-do list and stuff. Makes it a whole lot easier just to know exactly what happened to something that was going to be really useful. Besides that, I have pretty much a docking station that has two. I should write down docking station. I haven't tested that, so docking, and basically I could, uh, it might be something wrong with the ribbon and things like that, or the connector and things. So I could test it with different connectors. So that means just taking this out of the external case and then docking it, and maybe it'll show up. And then now I've got control alternate delete to enter task manager, and this 8 GB RAM. So I bought this for a different laptop and setup. What I've got to actually do is look up the information, or just go ahead and do a few tests. 8 to 16 GB upgrade. I could open up. I'm basically at opening this up and checking around, but just before any of that, there's also another way besides. So I just tapped Control Alternate Delete, and then now it's got this special little menu that says Sign Out, Change a Password, and then there's a Task Manager, which shouldn't be operating too much. I've got to kind of, and this is actually showing off what the RAM is doing. There's also another way that basically you could I could basically click start and then have information like about the PC and stuff. So the task manager does show off RAM is at 39%, which I'm not sure about the CPU and things. What it could actually might be just different things. Other way is to click on pretty much start, then go to settings, and then scroll down to something with more information. Windows update, I'm not sure exactly. So it's pretty easy. It's all the way at the bottom. I just remember kind of have things: processor, installed RAM, 8 gigabytes, 7.788 gigabytes usable, device ID. So now I'm going to try to add 8 gigabytes of RAM. I'm going to try to wear some gloves, I think. Alright, so I laid a sweatshirt underneath. For some reason, this plate is a little tough. And basically, yeah, it has an M.2 SSD, rather. So I'm getting kind of lucky right there. And then I need to make sure kind of the but I think I've seen a few RAMs. I think this is only a single slot. This actually is not a double slot unless so that's not good, just because yeah, I mean, some stuff, like when you figure out a few things and then the back bracket would be up a little higher and stuff, unless I'm figuring out something wrong and things, that would be kind of raised up so that I could pretty much have the RAM kind of overlaying. That's definitely just a single slot. So do something that is impossible, I think, that to make sense of it. For now, it's just really not what I expected. Was with what I was buying, it said it was only one slot, 8 gigabytes maximum, so I can't really even put 16 gigabytes into this, just because it's just how things that's just basically how things are situated. I can't if so I'm basically I've got to just. What's up, YouTube? Welcome to Upside DIY. So I'm going to try to turn on this laptop just by tapping the power button. Sometimes to power this on, so the light turned on, so it does work with the system unplugged because there's a rechargeable battery in there.
Come on, baby, pull me closer before the moment fades. I know you're trying to keep composure, but we don't get this way.
Alright, so what's going to happen is I tested this hard drive. I had some footage, and then I was like trying to edit the video, and I accidentally deleted just needed this information, and the next thing I'm ready for is 10 gigabytes.